You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
This is Adam Kokesh, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio.
Happy Thursday night, and welcome to Overgrow the Radio. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Well, you know, I'm here. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Elisa Kappelman, and our faithful producer, Mr. Custer, over in the corner hiding out. Got a pretty cool night tonight, I think.
We're going to have some fun.
Well, we always have fun. We got Adam Skorgi from the Union coming on. We're going to try out Skype for the first time on our show. We're moving up in the world. You know, we've had the capability all along, but just the gumption.
We're moving into the 21st century.
Yeah, so we're trying. So we're going to have him on, and then Drew Milburn's going to come back in. He was here a few weeks ago. He's going to actually start a segment with us and talk some growing, talk some trouble. Who are you calling, Chris?
I'm getting him ready.
Oh, okay. We're
priming
someone. We got some news to get to first. We love the feds here at Overgrow the Radio, as I have with Overgrow the Government before Overgrow the Radio existed. And today we've got some stories out of D.C. that are really, I don't know, disturbing, upsetting. They piss me off. You know, we obviously are a country who, we live off of the war machine, the military-industrial complex. We live in Colorado Springs. We see it on a daily basis. It feeds our economy. It's our biggest employer. You know, it's ridiculous. So we send these kids over to fight for oil or whatever the cause may be at that time, and then they come home with this horrible, horrible PTSD from what they see, what they go through, the things they encounter, you know. And Obama, you know, what we're seeing now as research is unfolding and coming out, that PTSD is very treatable with cannabis. We know some folks down in the Springs with VetsCan who swear by it.
They've had some great success. There was one guy who was throwing up for 12 to 14 hours a day, and he started using cannabis oil, and immediately he would maybe throw up once a day, and then he would have a normal day.
Well, our wonderful president, in his continued lenient stance on cannabis that never existed, has declared there will be no no cannabis for PTSD sufferers from the military.
So the people that go out and risk their lives for us, they don't get the best care.
Oh, absolutely not. I think anyone who's been through VA care, you know, there are some folks, my grandfather, one of them, swore by the VA.
And I'm sure the VA does some good things at times, but this is not one of them.
No, and there's so much contradiction because the VA has actually come out in the last year or so and said that people that they're treating, veterans, can use cannabis if they're in a medical state. So, you know, you've got the federal government just twisting everything. As I said last week, it's the absurdity is at such a level these days that, you know, they implicate themselves in their own laws, and almost every cannabis and drug law, for that matter, is contradicted by something else in the writing. So it's absurd. So they're also back out in Cali because they like California. Everyone likes Cali, but I think the feds have a special spot in their heart for California. I'm sorry, guys.
Unfortunately. Those poor people.
Yeah, right? They're out there, and it's funny. I read this article, and, you know, I don't know the family here that was implicated in this, but there was a lot of bashing going on, and I just kind of laughed. You got to look at the bigger picture out there, folks. This story we're going to talk about next is not about this family or who they screwed or who doesn't like them. It's about the fact that almost every dispensary I go into has an ATM in it. Now the feds have come in California and accused this guy and his son of money laundering because they have an ATM in their dispensary.
However, they won't allow us to have a bank account.
Exactly. I mean, it's... You know, and I'm not sure how that process works. If you buy an ATM, I'm sure you can feed it yourself.
Uh-huh.
And that's what he was doing. Somehow that's money laundering.
I don't know.
You know, it doesn't go into detail, but I would love to have an explanation as to how they see that as money laundering.
Well, basically what they're trying to do is make it to where we can't do business because almost no one uses cash anymore.
Yeah.
Cash is a dead thing, and to make people have to use cash is ridiculous.
Right. I mean, I've been in a few dispensaries that still take cards, but the only way to do it is to have another business, and you run them both under the same business. If you have the word cannabis, marijuana, anything along those lines in your name, you're going to get a hassle. You know, I personally had some issues with PayPal, and that, you know, that's just mild compared to what we're going through with the banking industry here. So we definitely need alternatives, and I mean, this is just, you're right, it's ridiculous. They're nitpicking. They're looking for any way, a backdoor in to do their thing. And
our Cannabis Council in Colorado Springs, though, is looking for some solutions to this. Maybe you'd like to address that since you're on that council.
We are, and I do sit on the board, don't I? Yeah, we talked to Tanya a couple weeks ago, and she's much more knowledgeable than I am in what's going on. But we are actually working on a private bank that will be out of state. And, you know, obviously you can email me to get more info, stickman200210@gmail.com. And it's just, the only difference between it and a quote-unquote regular bank would be that it's not FDIC insured. These days, in my mind, that might not be such a bad thing.
Well, the federal government's broke, so I don't know that guarantee means anything. If our banks went belly up, do you think you'd see your money?
No, I doubt I would.
Oh, and just a reminder for those of you out there who want to get a hold of us for any reason, you can visit us on Facebook at Overgrow the Radio.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. I just started a Twitter account, but I'm dumb, so I'm learning how to use the Twitter account. We're going to try to post the show up there for anybody who wants to share it via Twitter. You know, also make sure to check out so many great shows, and every day it seems like we're working on another show. So iCannabisRadio.com. We've got IDAB Radio now, which is doing great. We've got the Realm Radio with the Stanley Brothers. We've got Sexpot Radio, and we've got Warren in Georgia, which I'm not sure if that's the official title. I think they're working on it. Okay. But yeah, Warren joined Georgia, so that should be interesting. And, you know, keep your eyes open because we've always got new shows coming up. So let's, I guess since we bashed on the feds a little bit, we can instill a little bit of hope maybe in our listeners and us. For anyone who remembers, I think last year, the Truth and Trials Act that was out, what it is it allows, you know, if you're charged federally, right now you can't even say the word cannabis or medical cannabis during your trial. It's not admissible. They don't recognize, you know. So what this will do is allow us to have a defense in a federal case, is the long and short of it, the layman's term.
And it's about time. I can't wait. I hope that happens.
Word. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do on that front. It's not going to be easy. You know, the fact that they don't even acknowledge it is just absurd. It's, you know, it's got to change. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut to a little bit of an early commercial, and then we're going to play a little video, possibly, and try to get Mr. Scorgi on the phone. So stick around with us. We got a great show coming up.
And come right back to Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
The Clinic is proud to announce the third annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for two to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding, Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
And we're back on Overgrow the Radio. What's happening?
Not much.
So we're all goofing off and causing trouble, and it looks like we're having some issues with our Skype right now. So we're trying to get Mr. Scorgi on Skype. If not, maybe we'll try the telephone after the next break. I don't know if Mr. Custer's having any luck. But what we're going to do is we're going to play... He does have a new documentary that they're working on. So we're going to play a little, I believe, preview clip from that. And we're going to work on getting him on the phone. So enjoy.
It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
In 2007, a small independent documentary unveiling the breakdown of marijuana prohibition entered the North American Film Festival circuit. the Union, the business behind getting high, would find itself accepted into 33 international film festivals in the span of a year. The film went on to win numerous awards and garner critical acclaim across the globe. With little to no support from big studios, the Union stormed the internet realm, reaching out to millions of viewers. Witnessing this overwhelming response, the filmmakers took it upon themselves to evolve the documentary from a simple motion picture into the beginnings of a movement. And so, the Union's social networking Facebook page was born, quickly growing to serve over 35,000 active users. Armed with groundbreaking numbers on what many had said to be a dead topic, distributors and broadcasters were forced to take notice. 5 years after conception, the Union and the issue of cannabis prohibition was launched into the mainstream as the film was released into video stores, universities, and media outlets across the world. With newfound exposure, the film went on to claim the attention of Canada's highest level of government, as it was chosen to be screened on Parliament Hill in order to educate senators and members of Parliament on the ramifications of marijuana prohibition. The rest is history. Now in the twilight of a public shift of awareness, the Union's makers have set into motion plans to create what they hope to be the most prolific and relevant marijuana documentary to date. The follow-up film to the Union, entitled The Culture High. Having had 6 years to grow, to adopt new stories, new heroes, new villains, and an entirely evolved insight into society and who we are as a human species, The Culture High will break down the boundaries that prevent marijuana prohibition from being stripped down to its very core. Are we least effective when lost in the emotion of group mentality? Has the emergence of the internet equalized the political playing field? The Culture High will raise the stakes with some of today's biggest celebrities, gain access to previously unattainable footage, and reveal incredibly moving testimonies from both sides of the spectrum. The Culture High is the documentary that will tear into the very fiber of the longest fought war of our time. But in order to make this documentary come to fruition, we need your support. By August 1st, we must raise $190,000 to kickstart the remaining funding necessary to produce this film. What we seek from you is not charity, but the pre-pledged support of your copy of the film. It's that simple. You pre-purchase your DVD copy of The Culture High for $35, and by doing so, you will give the film the ability to be made in the first place. The equation is, you pre-buy, the film gets made, you receive your DVD copy when it's finished. The level of theatrical release will be directly affected by the response to this video. The larger the response, the bigger the release. However, if this goal is not met and the money is not raised, you will not be charged, and the documentary will never see the light of day. You have the power to put a film of purpose back in the public eye by letting distributors and broadcasters know that the demand to see a film of meaning and purpose is still alive, and that the importance of truth will never be denied. Very few times in this life are we afforded the ability to make such a difference in public awareness with the click of a mouse. This happens to be one of those times.
Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
No. Are we back?
We are back.
I think we're back.
Welcome back.
So I'm not sure where Adam is. We played his clip. I'm excited about that new documentary.
I am too.
I love The Union. Actually, that was one of my favorite documentaries about cannabis. It's one of the ones that really, once I came out of the closet, if you will, it's one of the documentaries that really kind of opened my eyes a little bit more as to everything going on. And I can relate, you know, he mentions in the beginning how he was on a bunch of opiates, which I think a lot of us are, or were at one point, that switched to cannabis. So there's a lot of similarities there that really hit home for me. So we've got a ton of news to go through, and then if we can't, for some reason, get a hold of him, we'll just try to reschedule him down the road.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's okay.
Yes.
This is our first guest that we haven't been able to get a hold of, so we'll hope that there's no more. So, you know, we might as well continue on the feds, because it's fun to bash on the feds. I don't like the feds. Do you like the feds?
No.
They're not a lot of fun. I've had no pleasant experiences with them. Now, I'm sorry, the people who issue my permit in D.C., they're pretty friendly.
Yeah?
Yeah, but they don't carry guns. They don't arrest people. It seems to be that fine line there. So the Department of Agriculture says that you cannot deduct your medical cannabis expenses from your taxes. I'm sorry, if you're a food stamp applicant, you cannot. So I'm confused by this article, and it's a short article that I read, so it's not all that detailed. But does that mean like if myself, who I don't receive food stamps, can I deduct my medical cannabis?
That's what it sounds like.
Well, and it says, New Mexico, Maine, and Oregon. I suppose it's written into their bill, which is a great idea. I mean, for most patients, we're not rich. Most of us are on a fixed income, so it would be great to be able to deduct all your pharmaceuticals. I don't think I'm old enough to qualify for that yet, though.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm right behind you. And then the DEA, we'll just kind of go through the medical marijuana news of the week, if you will. The DEA is at it again out in Cali. Again, the DEA in particular loves California. I'm pretty sure their biggest bases, if you will, are along the coast there.
Well, that's how they make their money.
Well, yeah, they forfeiture.
Uh-huh.
They drive the fancy cars, and they get to go spend money at strip clubs.
And they seize all the money and assets.
The evil drug money. Get 'em. So yeah, they raided a Venice dispensary, I guess. It's hard, at least I have a hard time keeping up with all the raids. It's emails like this that really keep me up to date, and I think it's important to pass it on our show and everywhere, because the more of us that know, if we're out there when these things happen, that's even better. But even if we can find out about them afterwards, I know a big problem for us here locally is we can't, we don't know who gets arrested. El Paso County, we're prosecuting a ridiculous number of patients down there, and unless someone comes forward, you have no clue.
Even when they do, they try to keep it quiet.
Yeah, I urge anyone, even if you're taking a plea, you still have to get that out there. I understand some people are in it just for the business aspect, and that's great. But you still have to realize that without the patients and the activists, there is no business, there is no industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, when these things happen, it's important for our sakes as a whole that we all get the word out that yes, this is happening and it's going on. Here in Colorado, and I don't know statistics out that way, but something like 70 to 80% of our citizens are in favor of medical cannabis. And yet the feds decide they want to come in, and somehow their opinion trumps what we want here.
They don't work for us.
Well, that's debatable.
I would say they don't, because what the people want is not what they're doing.
Well, as we've said before, I think absolutely what we've seen down in our county is our local DA, Mr. May, is no more than an extension of the feds. He has proven that time and time again. It's ridiculous. We should talk about the Independent a little bit. We have a local paper there in Colorado Springs, the Independent, who just put out an article about Elisa, and I historically over the last couple of years I've bashed the Independent because they, it's one of the local papers where you flip to the back and you can find dispensaries all across town.
6 pages of ads of dispensaries.
Absolutely. Well, and I was saying that's went down when I first moved here. It was like 12. It was ridiculous. But, they make a ton of advertising money from our industry. And, a lot of times they're not that friendly in their writing towards our industry.
And the article that they did yesterday was very positive. They just put it out there that during the last 18 months, myself, Bob Kraus, Jesse, what's his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I can see it. Verisi. There you go. Yeah.
Were all arrested up on charges, and all of us were innocent people that got dragged through the courts. Cost us tons of money. I'm sure it cost us all kinds of things. I know it cost Bob his house. It cost him his business. It cost him all kinds of things. And we're innocent.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think what puzzles me, or amazes me, not puzzles me, is the juries. You know, we are in El Paso County, which for people not in Colorado, it is absolutely one of the most conservative counties, populated counties that I've seen in our state. And the juries sent a pretty loud message that this is ridiculous. You know, I wrote a couple little short things for the board the other day, and I pointed out, you know, that I could see after like day 2 in both trials, yours and Bob's I could see in their faces, the jury they were fed up. They were bored. The comments or questions the prosecution made, they were scowling at them even. You know, I think the people are speaking pretty loudly, and hopefully someday the people who work for us, as you said before, will listen to us.
Well, they even interviewed previous District Attorney Stan Garnett out of Boulder County, and he has actually reversed how he prosecutes marijuana cases and does not look for marijuana cases. And he is actually advising Dan May down in El Paso County to lighten up and listen to what the people want. He said, it's clear to me, both from a couple of cases we've pursued, plus we had one where we couldn't even get a jury of people that would say they would convict even if we proved the facts. It's just clear that people in my community do not want to see enforcement of criminal laws that involve the medical marijuana community to be a priority. And Dan May needs to get that. He really does.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's a huge problem, is when you have people like Dan May working or in cahoots with the feds. Because what we have to have is people like Stan Garnett, you know, state-level officials that are willing to stand up for what we voted for. If we don't have that, then we might as well be governed by the federal government.
It makes me really proud that somebody who is in a position like him sees that and actually makes statements about it and is not afraid. That warms my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. I think what we'll do is take one more commercial break, and then hopefully everyone will listen to you and I ramble for a few more minutes, and our next guest will be in here in a little bit, and we'll get going with that. We'll be right back here on Overgrow the Radio.
Come back for iCannabisRadio.com.
The Clinic is proud to announce the 3rd annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for 2 to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets: Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
2 of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our 2 locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
No woman, no cry. It's always good to come back to that. I cry a lot because I have a lady. I was lucky enough to have her in town with me most of the week this week. She went home to do some chores and tend to our garden.
Meg is a sweetheart.
She takes good care of me. She puts up with me. That's saying a lot. I'm not easy to put up with. Speaking of putting up with me, our sponsors do that too. They're great people. The Realm of Caring, I actually picked up my Realm oil a couple of days ago. I got capsules. It was the first time for that, so it's a new. I have to learn how to dose properly. I took, the first couple of nights. I haven't had it for a couple of weeks, so I took a couple and I was done.
Yeah.
Done. So yeah, I knew. I'm scared right now to take my oil in the morning. I'm scared it'll put me to bed. But if you guys know anybody, realmofcaring.com. It's a great organization. If you're a dispensary out there and you're able to help with trim, if you're able to help monetarily, and by trim I mean sweet leaf trim from the cannabis plant. That's Sexpot Radio. That's a whole different show. Please get in contact with Josh and his brothers. They're great people. We work with them closely here. They do a show through the station, American Weed the Realm Radio, Tuesday nights, 7 to 8. So please check them out. In Dispensary is another branch of their conglomerate, and I say it's sort of a co-sponsorship, so we got to plug them. We're lucky enough to be sponsored by 3 of what I consider the best dispensaries in southern Colorado, if not, the Springs. SoCo MMJ.
I like that place.
I think I know one of the owners pretty well. She takes good care of me when I go in there. If you haven't been in there, you're missing out. I tell people all the time that I will eat off of your guys' grow room floor. And that's saying something. Not to mention I like to sign in and be all proper and come in and just get lost every once in a while. A sea of cannabis, you really can't go wrong with that.
That makes me so happy. I can never be upset in the grow room.
Yeah, oh no. I mean, no. It's like you walk through the door and the change in the lighting changes your mood. And
it's just the greenery and the happy plants.
Yeah, I think, what I think is you guys, no you don't, because you'd never get rid of people. I was going to say, you need a little lounge back there, but then none of your employees would ever work.
I was going to say, no one would ever leave.
I know, I wouldn't. I'm there enough anyway. You guys probably get sick of me.
Nah.
So legalization is on the ballot in many states this year, or trying to be on the ballot. And I know, I believe Oregon today, I heard they're on the ballot now officially. So congratulations. I'm not sure about Washington or Cali. I haven't been updated on those of recent. My news lady should have known that, but
I didn't.
Yeah, that's okay. So I also read that Michigan did not make it. They only had right around 50,000 signatures, and they needed like 322 It's so precise. They needed actually 322,609 valid signatures.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure where that number comes from. I should know that.
It's a percentage
of
how many people voted in the last election.
Yeah, we know that because we're going to recall Dan May. So be sure when you do go to the ballot box in El Paso County this November to not check any boxes for district attorney.
Absolutely none.
The more people who vote for this douchebag, Dan May, the more signatures we have to get to recall him.
So nobody vote for him. But everybody get out and vote. And one of the things I want to encourage people to do is go out and register to vote. You can do that on the internet. You don't even have to get out of your chair. So register to vote. Other people are not going to do this for you. We have to stand up for ourselves.
No matter what.
No matter what Obama says. I like that. So Montana, they got picked on last year. You know, the feds, the ATF went in there.
They got beat up.
That blows my mind. Why in the hell is the ATF involved in raiding a cannabis dispensary? You know, I joked, is it because of the cigarette papers? Yeah, I don't get that. It's like, you know, okay, our federal agency's going broke too. Can we get in on that raid and get a little bit of your loot?
And that's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they raided an ungodly number of dispensaries in one day, and I've only heard, personally, this is the first charges that I've heard of coming out of Montana over that, and I'm pretty sure it's over that, is a guy last Friday was sentenced to 7 years in the federal pen for growing the evil plant in a state where it's permitted, and he was probably licensed, I'm going to guess, and probably had a legal dispensary under state law.
That's sickening.
It is. I mean, in a time when we have a federal and most state governments that are clinging just to survive, you know, cutting off services, we're putting people in prison still for this. We're putting people in prison who are legal in the state they live in.
We're number one in putting people in prison.
Yes.
Of all the world.
As I like to point out, when China's calling you out on human rights, you got issues. Yeah, Montana, I feel for you on that. You know, hopefully an end is in sight for all of us. San Francisco, you don't think of that area as having problems, really.
You think of them as being a little more liberal.
Haight-Ashbury, you know, weed's been weed there forever. Medical, whatever, who cares? It's San Francisco. You can roller skate naked down the road as long as you put a towel down when you sit down. I mean, it's San Francisco, for God's sake. But, you know, I'm reading today that it sounds like they've got a little battle out there with their U.S. attorney, Melinda Haig. She shut down six dispensaries to date. I'm guessing that's just her term. They're at a 10-year low, or they will be at a 10-year low by the month's end on their dispensaries. You know, San Francisco is a huge city, and I'm going to guess there's a lot of people there that need cannabis. Anytime I read a headline like that where, you know, they're down to a low, it's scary because that means there's people that don't have access to medicine. You know, I think what these feds look at is they see, you know, they ride down the road, oh my God, there's pot shops everywhere. They love that term, pot shops. It's cannabis, by the way. It's not pot or weed or dope. But, you know, they ride down the road and they see this, and what they don't realize is a lot of these people that go into these dispensaries are people in wheelchairs or people on crutches or people like me who don't look sick but might have a bad back, and it might be really frickin' painful to walk or, you know, get up some days. I woke up yesterday and it took me 10 minutes to straighten up. That's pretty common.
It has actually been amazing to me owning a dispensary and getting to know the conditions of people and looking at people and judging them as sick or not sick. I've learned that you cannot do that because I get young, healthy-looking people come into the dispensary and they have devastating illnesses, and you wouldn't know it to look at them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I work enough with patients. Obviously, I don't work or own a dispensary or work in one, but absolutely. I mean, even cancer patients, you expect them all to look sick and dying, and they don't.
And they don't.
So, yeah, I mean, it's absurd. It's just it's a status quo. It's a stereotype. It's ridiculous. It's what we do every week sitting here behind these microphones is we try to educate people, and that's really what has to happen. Is cannabis is not just for people who are dying. Cannabis works on hundreds of different ailments.
And it makes people happy.
God forbid we have a happy society. God forbid people don't walk around with their thumb up their ass being all depressed and, buying their six-pack and watching football on Sunday. We don't want a world like that. That'd be horrible. So anyway, the feds just need to get out. I mean, we're at a point where it's time for them to go. But we got sidetracked on our sponsors a little bit there. We were going to spend a little time this evening propping them up because we don't really do that as much as we should. We talked about SoCo and in-dispensary, but what we didn't talk about is We Grow Colorado, and Drew will be in just a little bit. He's going to do a new segment. We're going to do some grow talk and maybe some political rants a little bit. He's like us. He likes to talk, so we're going to get along great, I think. He's going to start doing a monthly segment, and I believe they're on Bijou there in the Springs, East Bijou, if I'm correct. I don't know their exact address. Bad plug. But you should definitely get by there. I've been in there a couple times. Maybe if you get to know him, he'll show you his badass motorcycle desk, because it's kind of cool. I ain't going to lie. And he made it. The Hemp Connoisseur is also going to start a segment next week, I believe. David, one of the owners there at the Hemp Connoisseur, the magazine, THC for short. That's exciting because we don't really have... it won't be primarily about hemp, but we'll talk a little about hemp. It's going to kind of highlight what they highlight in our magazine. And, with anyone that we bring on as a sponsor or that really we work with, I try as a show anyway to keep, and as a station, to deal with folks that we respect and we see going places in the industry. And the Hemp Connoisseur, in my mind, is a great thing. It's a magazine that's not... It's not culture-based. It's very, as they like to put it, you could lay it on your coffee table and
it's not boobs and bongs?
Yes. Yeah, I was being much nicer than you tonight, but yeah, that's exactly what it's not. Which, hey, if that's your thing, great, go for it. But it's something to keep in mind, and I may get some haters for this, but the boobs and bongs are great for what it is. If that's what you need to get by, then
there's
then
two pieces to this culture, and that's part of it.
Yeah, well, I think what they have to, what I hear from that side of it is a lot of bashing of folks like us who want to be professional, and I think what everyone has to realize is our industry and all of us are under a microscope. So, and it's not other industry folks that we have to impress. It's the conservative Christians. It's Jehovah's Witnesses, it's Mormons, it's people who don't know cannabis, who cannabis is not a part of their culture. To them, it's still some big, scary, evil drug that the federal government tells them can kill them.
And if you come at them with boobs and bongs, they are not going to listen.
No. And the other thing to that is, people with kids, you're not going to put a magazine, I'm not going to put a magazine in my house that my daughter can pick up that's got some girl draped over a bong. It's just not going to happen. Yes, I am a strict parent. I know that's hard to believe. So we're almost up on another commercial break here. I think what we're going to do, we'll have Drew in a few minutes, but we've got a couple more sponsors, or one more sponsor we need to plug, and he's actually roaming around outside, so I'm going to see if we can't get him on the mic for a minute. So stick with us here on Overgrow the Radio. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Peace.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
The clinic is proud to announce the third annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for two to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJprinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
And we're back on Overgrow the Radio. Do you like how I stretched that and out because I wasn't really live yet?
Well, you were trying to think what you were going to say next.
No, I just really suck at radio, and I'm surprised we have any listeners at all. So we're back. It was really lonely in here, missing our guests tonight, but I think we did okay. We always have random people that just wander into our studio here at iCannabis Radio. If you haven't been up here yet, you're probably not cool enough, and maybe someday we'll let you in. No, yeah, anybody who knows us knows you can come by and say hi here. We're a great group of folks. We got Daryl, and I'm
Derek.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to get it wrong because I've only met you once, and I suck at names too, dude. I'll know you the next time, though. These guys, Daryl's been, we were just saying, he's been sponsoring our show now, really, since the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you told me that you said I was going to be on the radio.
Yeah, and Daryl hooks me up. He's my buddy because he hooks me up with glass.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who throws a brother some cheap glass, you know, I break shit so often. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Quality affordable.
Inexpensive, quality, actually non-breakable. Because, well, not non-breakable, but, you know, I have one of the bubblers. And I'm really good because it's kind of top-heavy. And I'll throw it up, you know, and I'm all medicated, proper terms. And I'll put it up on my little side table by my couch. I'll be watching a movie. And every time, dude, I'll swipe it off that table. It never fails.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I do.
That's the whole basis of me, you know, the way I set up my company once I got here to Denver and learned about the whole, you know, medical marijuana side of everything. my first intentions was to get a piece of pipe out there that, that our dispensaries can give to their patients, at affordable price, because a lot of people, let's face it, they're getting into the medical scene for the very first time in marijuana. They don't know how to use papers or anything, or they may be even incapable of using papers. And what I'm trying to do is just make an option for them, to get a pipe and be able to take their medication the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all for, Elisa and I a few weeks ago took a field trip, because we do that sometimes, and went to Illusions Glass. Have you been in there yet? Yeah, they have some.
Girlfriend works there.
Oh, nice,
Love
nice.
that place.
They have some amazing glass there. I'll just throw them a plug on that. They've got the artists from all over
and
the world.
And a customer of Green Monsters.
Yeah. But they've also got Green Monster glass. And the thing that I like to talk about is, maybe someday I'll have a $2,000-$3,000 piece on my mantle. Yeah, I might smoke out of it as I'm dying.
Yeah.
Let's be practical. Who really buys a $3,000 glass piece and uses it daily?
Yeah, not a medication patient for sure.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the realm and helping patients and whatnot, and none of us have a ton of money. We're all patients, we're all, a lot of us are on disability or getting by however it may be. So what you do is very important for the industry and for patients across the state.
Yeah.
And talk about your company a little bit, because you're branching out. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
we haven't touched base for a while.
Well, first of all, we have an office in Colorado Springs. We're setting up a warehouse here in Denver where we're going to have glass blowers, so we can get the affordable glass, here right out of the Denver area. Our main warehouse is in Dallas, Texas. We have glass blowers there that blow, 24/7 around the clock, We've opened an office in Montana. And, we're kind of branching out. We got California in our eyes, some of the other legal states. We've teamed up with great companies like we have a hemp clothing line, also accessories, things to protect your water pipes and your pipes that you buy, that are padded, and they're made out of real 100%, hemp. So we're pushing that line along with the T-shirts, and we have the Elevate line, which I'm sure everybody on our cannabis has heard before. It's a great line. They've got a great oil pen that takes real medicine. You don't have to mix any of the non-medical, I don't even know what you would call it, but the non-medical stuff, the fillers, the filters and additives,
I love it, man. I've definitely used it on camera on accident a time or two here.
Does that pen just take raw product?
Man, you load it up. I've got one right here.
We have a version of the raw flower one, but the one I was speaking of is what you put in there is pure CO2 concentrate, or a concentrate on that, where you don't have to mix an additive in it to get it to burn. Ours is a heat-in element. It's not a vape like a lot of these companies are out. So we're able to put the pure medicine in there. So you're getting actually pure medicine, not additives plus pure medicine.
Well,
which, to some people, it's a lot better, because you don't have to take 10, doses. You can take 1 to 2 doses and be done.
And it's good too if you're trying to track your intake. It's got the counter on there. It's got
I forgot
handy
about the
little
best
thing.
part.
Yeah, man, that's cool. For somebody like Dr. Shackelford or someone who's studying patients, something like that would be great.
Yeah, I have to be honest that I have a few vapes, and if you don't pay attention to how many rips you take off of them, and you're
yeah, absolutely.
sitting at home and 15, 20 rips later in an hour,
yeah,
you're going to be
over-medicated
pretty quick.
Then you're going to sleep. Yeah,
especially on the patient level.
I have a cancer patient, and he tracks every dose of everything he does, and that would make it really easy for him.
Yes,
absolutely.
And actually, we're making a software right now that we're working on, that actually you'll be able to take the pen back into your doctor. He'll plug it in through USB, and he can see how much medication you've intaked.
Nice.
So we're working on that whole program. We're basically, this pen company, there's a lot of vape pens out there. We're building towards the patient, is what we're going after.
Very
kind
good.
Of the same influence with my glass.
How do people find you?
You can either call our main office in Colorado Springs at 719-687-6027, or you can look us up at greenmonstercells.com. We've just connected with Canaline, which I have here sitting next to me, which we're combined my salespeople and his salespeople so we could take over, kind of go over and make sure we're getting all the state completely handled. His name is Derek. You can contact him up here if you're a dispensary in the Denver area. Tell him you're
720-515-5420.
And also you can get him on Canaline's website.
Canaline.com. CANNALINE. We do packaging. We do Harborside's packaging. Heartland here in Denver. And custom jars, bags, concentrate containers.
A little bit of everything.
Most of the city in Denver, I can't walk 2 blocks downtown Denver without running into somebody, a patient that has a jar of mine in their pocket, or 5 at home. I mean,
they basically have the same philosophy as Green Monster. It's affordable, it's a good product, and it gets out there where it's great.
That's important. I think affordability is the main thing here.
Yep. Our prices are quite a bit less than that of our competitors, and we have quality thick jars. They are watertight, and so they really keep your meds fresh. You don't lose any of your keef in the bags. So the better dispensaries use them as their top shelf packaging.
My dispensary uses old-fashioned canning jars.
Oh yeah, there's a few guys still doing that.
I'm kidding. There are great little containers out there, and I don't know, I haven't seen your line yet. I'm sure I will soon since you guys are new partners.
I'm
sure I have. I like the little pop lid containers.
Little top glass jars.
Yeah,
holding 8.
Probably seen those. Yeah, I mean it always amazes me the different containers.
Do you have stuff like this?
Not quite like that.
We have to show it on camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have stuff like this with cannabis in it? Oh, I can't.
That's pretty cool.
See. Legal. Yes. There's many different containers in our industry.
No, I didn't. There's one in the front seat of the car.
So I have to talk about it. I have to give a bad shout out, and I won't mention the name of the place or anything like that, but they have some of the best wax in Denver, I'll say that. But their wax containers are these little tiny flat things that you have to, it's got 2 little lips and one in the middle.
And they strip out after the first or second time?
Well, no.
They're hard to open.
They're hard to open, and if you don't set them on the table like I didn't, I was in the hotel one night after a show, and I opened it, had just bought a brand new gram, all over the hotel floor.
You're talking about those little pop-top
ones.
Yeah.
Take care of that.
Yeah.
We have screw-top concentrate containers.
And they're not the soft plastic.
They're not soft plastic. You don't get little slivers of plastic on the screw tops. Here's one that I have. This is the 7 milliliter one, and it's clutch.
We move the camera all the time here. Yeah,
hold on a second. It looks great. Your meds look great inside of it, especially on display.
It's clear. It doesn't have that smoky look.
These are acrylic. They're not a polypropylene. So the thing is with those polypropylene containers, patients need to be really careful about not leaving them in the sun, because if polypropylene heats up to somewhere between 110, 135 degrees, you start getting gases coming out of the plastic that'll seep into your meds, and there's carcinogens inside of that polypropylene. So having these acrylic ones is key, especially for stuff that's going to be around for a while, because you can fit so much wax inside of here, then you're going to have it for quite a while.
And right now in Denver, it's hot as shit, as it is across most of our states, so that's important.
They all
we're gonna take a break. I encourage everybody, dispensary owners, patients, to get in touch with you guys. Don't spend a lot of money and get some quality glass and products.
Dispensary don't have us. Demand them to have Green Monster. We are Denver, Colorado owned. We're Colorado operated, and all of our money stays right here.
And give us your phone number one more time.
And if you're a dispensary, these guys are great to work with.
Yeah,
they're all right.
719-687-6027, and my name is Daryl.
Right on, sir. Well, we're going to be right back here. Thank you guys again for coming in. Stick with us. We're going to take a short little break, and then we're going to get Drew in the studio to start his new segment with us.
I can't wait to learn how to grow.
So thanks for tuning in to iCannabisRadio.com. We love you. We'll be back in just a few.
Peace.
Ciao.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley Brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
The clinic is proud to announce the third annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for two to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
Welcome back to Overgrow the Radio. Tonight we have some great guests that joined us on the break.
We do. Thanks for bringing us back in, because I got all ripped during the break and I forgot. I was sitting here just staring at the walls like I usually do. So a quick plug before we bring these guys in. I got a let's call it a late birthday present.
Yes.
I got a new oil rig from
I'm
our
jealous.
friends at Green Monster Glass.
I'm jealous. That is
amazing.
gorgeous.
It's beautiful. I don't even want to get it dirty. I I just want to put it on the mantle.
Very
like
nice.
the $3,000
I have some really nice wax too.
Ooh, I know what we're doing in about another 49 minutes, ma'am.
There you go.
So I stay about 3 miles down on the way back to the Springs, wax at the room. So our next guest, one of them is, we're going to call him the quiet guy in the corner this evening. If he has some profound wisdom, he's informed us he will jump into our conversation. But I know he has profound wisdom because I sit on one of my many boards with him, and I've heard him say a smart thing or two along the way.
Charles always has something to say.
He's good. He's good that way.
Absolutely. And Drew Milburn. Drew was on, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago now? Time flies.
Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, right? Drew not only came on as a sponsor after he was on, but he wants to start a segment. So that's kind of what we're doing now. I guess, and I kind of formulated a couple talking points to talk to you about because it is new and we hadn't really sat down and talked about how we were going to format it, what you were going to chat about.
Right.
So, I know you actually got a huge plug from your buddy Charles there about your skills in the grow room. So, I plugged you as sort of
Still haven't paid him for that, but we're working on it.
Yeah, well, I've been there. I plugged you guys a minute ago. We went through our sponsors.
Oh, thank you.
And absolutely, I just said I'm a snob. There's a couple things in life that I'm a snob with: my bourbon, my coffee, and my cannabis.
Right.
And
Good choices.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Call me what you want, but if it wasn't quality cannabis, I'd let you know.
Well, I was waiting to be invited back based on that.
Yeah, man.
I was thinking, well, this could be the death of me right here.
Yeah. Well, and to plug one of our other new sponsors who I actually haven't talked about yet, I don't think, maybe we did. Yeah, we did, the Hemp Connoisseur. I'm going to be judging one of their cups coming up. And it's the championship. It's going to start, I think, the 3rd week of August. And actually, I need to chat with you about carrying their packets in your dispensary.
Okay.
Really cheap deal for patients to be able to come in and buy and try out.
Right.
And be a judge.
And be a judge. And they have 2 levels with this cup. They have the patient level and they have the connoisseur level. So the connoisseur level is people in the industry. You can't own a dispensary, obviously. So when they approached me with the offer, we chatted for a minute, and he's like, well, I've known you for a couple weeks. I think you consume enough cannabis to qualify as a connoisseur level judge. So apparently all you have to do is know me for a week to know how much of a snob I am with cannabis.
Maybe a little less than that even.
So Drew, I know you're a talker. I figured that out in about the same amount of time as you figured me out. So what made you want to do this segment?
Well, the big thing for me is I think when we talk about growing, this industry as a whole, there's just so much to talk about, and sometimes we forget about. I think we've talked about this before, some of the basics, and I'm a believer that the more information we put in front of people in terms of whether it's growing or any aspect of this industry, the better informed we are, the better off we are as an industry in whole. And everybody constantly talks about wanting change and doing something for change, but on a personal note, I don't see enough of that being done. Let's say at a grassroots piece, from an individual standpoint. Recently I had a gentleman ask me at a seminar, what did you do to create a name for yourself or a place? I said, well, I don't know that I've created a name, but what I have done is made myself responsible for my own actions. Sure. And for me, I think if we're going to take the time to grow this plant and use it for medicinal purposes, I think we owe it to ourselves to know everything we can about it. And quite frankly, I don't know everything that you can know about it. It's a constant educational piece, which is why I'm interested in doing a segment so that we can have a dialogue amongst us, in your viewers to say, okay, this is how we can start to pinch away at it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's why we get along. Is it is education. You and I both lived in Kentucky.
Right.
You have more of an accent than I do, so you're more a giveaway. Mine kicks in every now and then. I wasn't raised there, obviously, but every once in a while, my other half will call me on it.
Or perhaps after the bourbon.
Yeah.
Especially a good.
Maybe
bourbon.
After one of those. Yeah, absolutely. Some
Did
good
you start
Woodford.
washing things?
I do wash things.
I understand.
So,
and the zinc.
I think education is key with everything, and I think you have to get it out there. And I want to get your opinion on, I guess, in my mind, a comparison for folks in the flyover states who this isn't a normal thing for. I like to compare it to someone who grows roses. Folks get really into the roses, and they study the DNA of them and the whole nine, just like we do with cannabis.
Right.
I mean, do you see similarities with things like that?
Absolutely do see the similarities, and I think if we focused it as growers more intently the way rose growers do, we'd be a much better society. Because there's a point where I've seen from the commercial side of what we do is you get a person who's said that he's been growing his medicinal marijuana for 20 years, and yet you take a peek at it or a look at it or a taste of it and you think, wow, are you sure it's not more like 20 days? Just a sad scenario. And I think it's because, again, we don't take necessarily the greatest of pride in that growing, the way some of these people with rose bushes, I've noticed that people either cut them down or they do something to make them better. And I think we if we took a little bit more time with our own product line, both from commercially speaking, which I know you can appreciate what I'm saying, and also from an individual standpoint, we constantly have people asking us, hey, I'd like to grow my own, what do you think? And then I tell them straight up, it'd be great. I'm happy to give you back your plant count if you want to grow all your plants. But please understand what you're getting into.
It's a science.
Yeah, a science, not a hobby.
I mean, do you see in general, like with other growers and other dispensary center owners, is there cooperation there? I mean, do growers hide trade secrets, or do they share trade secrets?
Well, I'm glad some of them hide them, because their trade secrets is what keeps the rest of us in business, I think, because they think they're holding on to some ingenious avenue, which in fact they're putting out just poor quality medication, which will catch up to them sooner or later and make us all better. But I find the very best of growers hold on to their secrets as well. And I can appreciate that. I mean, it's a very competitive world that we live in. But I think that if we could find some sort of scenario where we communicated a little more openly, we would probably all benefit from it. Because right now what I find is, people are subjected to only reading and gaining information from what they read in a handful of books from and I'm not saying anything one way or the other, but folks have been around for 20, 30 years. They sometimes rely on their past growing experiences as opposed to what it really takes today to make that happen in the same market. So some old school traits work good, and some, I think, if we continued to share our science amongst one another, we'd be much better off.
So I've got a political question. Well, a growing political question, if you will.
All right.
Political grow question? I don't know what
either
the hell
way
I'm
sounds
saying.
great.
Yeah, here we go. The feds like to, I hear this from the feds. We've been picking on them all night, so we'll just continue it. They like to say that the cannabis these days is much more potent and much more dangerous because of this potency.
Right.
Now, for you and I, that's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Right.
We know why, because cannabis is a non-toxic plant and or flower, which can do nothing to you. You can smoke it all day, all evening. You're going to go to sleep. You might eat a bag of Cheetos.
Right.
Big frickin' deal.
Right.
But, how do you, I'm going to let you explain it in layman's terms.
Right.
Yes, in a sense, we have better cannabis. No, it's not a bad thing. Do you?
Yeah, well, I would say that we do have better cannabis. With that said, we all are aware that the arguments coming from the other side, from the mass bureaucracy, is hogwash. And if they cared enough to really spend some time analyzing it, I think they could be educated as well. Now, with that said, until they are educated, which is why we're here, trying to throw some of that out there. I look really at the feds, quite frankly, in my opinion. I'd like to partner up with them. If they would step up and say, let's create a partnership, everybody would be better off from that. But as far as cannabis coming to us more potent now, we're better growers than we ever have been. We have better conditions. We know the things. I firmly believe that a plant is genetically predisposed to give you a certain quality. That's why we research our genetics, right?
Absolutely.
We don't do that just because we want to come up with a fancy name. We do that because we want to find the very best possible medicine to serve our patients, period, for whatever their needs are. So I think over the past 20, 30 years, they got that part right. It's a better medicine, better quality, more potent, but now we know more about dosage. Now we're telling our patients, which is why we have a dispensary model where they can come and talk and relate to us. We can say, listen, where you used to have to smoke a gram of this, now you can smoke, a quarter gram of this, or ingest it this fashion versus another fashion, and that's where the real education comes from. So 50% of what they say, as usual, is correct, and the other 50% could use a little tweaking.
Well, the thing is, they're saying it's bad that it's stronger. It's actually good that it's stronger because you get to use less.
That's right.
Well, and if they're judging by the crap they grow at the University of Mississippi, then of course it's going to be a whole lot stronger.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's so funny. I travel pretty extensively, and what's interesting is that no matter where you go or where, it's the same rhetoric from one side versus the other. And it's amazing to me that it's so much easier for anyone to speak about things that they're uneducated about, just reverb of yesterday's news.
Absolutely.
Listen, let's all find a way to step up and work together, and we can figure it out. But you can't have that without an open dialogue, and a Gestapo method doesn't work.
No,
it's
and
a one-way relationship.
I think in time, as people are waking up, what you don't see, or a lot of America doesn't see, is that the stuff you see, the negative stuff, it's baseless. 99% of it is baseless. The studies that back it up are vague, or they rely on. I like how a big tactic that I see a lot in government studies is, I quote because the word study in government's kind of nonsensical, but they always lump it in with other drugs.
Right.
And they're always very vague. Like, those are two things that you will always find in a government study.
Right.
The DUI thing was a big topic lately, and everything that they stated in the papers, it was always drugs. It never said cannabis.
Well, what's interesting is that I learned a very valuable lesson during college days that sticks out to me, and it was during a statistics class. And I learned that statistics is effective solely with the person who's bringing them up. Mm-hmm. You can find statistics to fit anything you're trying to sell. Period.
Absolutely.
Period. So we use a tactic, they use a tactic, and meanwhile, none of us have gotten together in a fashion where we're saying, okay, listen, where do your statistics really derive from? Here's where ours derive from. Where do yours derive from? Hey, yours may be authentic based on the 15 people that you questioned, which gives you, perhaps 100%, validity.
Well, what I learned at the El Paso County Courthouse during your trial and Bob Krause's was that when you state those facts and you ask the DAs for their side of it, they try to file harassment charges against you.
Well,
that's the lesson I got from that.
Right. Well, and even with that said, I think one of the things that come from these types of conversations, in both from the growing standpoint of the actual growing of the plant and the growing of our business and our industry, is that we're getting the information out there, and we're challenging people to talk to us, and not come beat on our doors in an unfriendly manner. But I hope if anything ever comes out of a conversation with me is that I'm willing to sit down and have an intellectual conversation. Which I believe that I can have, and with anyone at any time, and say, listen, it's this plant. It's a plant, for Christ's sake. It's an herbal medicine. Whether it's the Chinese or some other group throughout the world, it's proven so many times. I mean, it's buried with people 2,000 years. Give me a break.
Well, and
it's
that's
been around.
Yeah,
it's not something we concocted like in a meth lab, for Christ's sake.
when I was, when I hurt my back and I decided it was time to come out, when cannabis really helped me, when I got off all the pills,
right?
I had to choose, what do I want to do? And I looked at drug policy as a whole, but cannabis mainly. And I targeted the feds with my organization because, it's really, I see them as our big hurdle. And my whole premise as to what I do and everything, I may be a little abrasive at times on some of the stuff we do for the show, but I'm like you. I want to be able to sit down and talk facts and logic and common sense. I think, and I'm confused in a lot of people what the motive is, but there's just this natural defensive mechanism that pops up in the other side. I see a lot, that it's hard to have that conversation. Now, once you get someone who, you can sit down with and break that barrier, then a lot of times you can enlighten them, and they do see what's going on.
Well, for me, it's pre-programming. There's real good pre-programming and there's bad pre-programming, but and these guys get really good pre-programming. Whenever you join an organization, whether it's a bureaucratic organization, a police organization, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, spent on programming you to understand the facts as the organization that you're joining sees them. So with that type of pre-program, it's the same thing we get in the military, right? Do your job, don't ask questions, get it done. Now, we're very effective at that. That's why we have the strongest military in the world, is because we just do it, we get it done. Well, that same type of pre-programming is what you're combating here, and with this show and other like shows, you're combating that and understand you as much money as you throw at it, you can't possibly reach the amount of money that's been thrown at their pre-programming. So we got to chew away one piece at a time, and that's what you're doing. The same way, again, when we talk about the growing, I believe the same way. There's so much basic material out there, but we need to start chewing away at some of the basic rhetoric that's tossed around about this is not a weed. I don't like it. I hate the word weed, frankly, on a personal note.
Yeah.
I'm not even big on the word pot. I run a medical marijuana dispensary.
Frankly, I don't think it matters what you call it.
I don't like the word marijuana because it has a negative connotation.
Okay, I'm even good with that. Let's bring it to cannabis.
I mean, cannabis is the original word. Marijuana is actually a wild Mexican tobacco. When they, and you know this, but just to repeat it to the viewers.
Sure.
In the 30s when they had to demonize it, it was such a part of our society that if they would have kept it as cannabis or hemp, people would have been like, "You're crazy! Get the hell out of my house." They called it marijuana and said it was going to make their wife go sleep with a black man, and all the racist craziness of the time and everything. It all worked perfectly, and it still works, and it's scary. So, Drew, we're excited to have you aboard. I've already got you written in for next month, and you don't even know it yet.
Here we go, man.
Yeah, it's on, dude.
So let's start tearing away.
We just went through 20 minutes like nothing, so I'm pretty sure we'll have some stuff to talk about in the future.
Okay, super.
I just got a text message real quick before we get you guys out of here from Bubba. Bubba was on. I talked about it, and I haven't mentioned it yet tonight. One of the cups that I'm doing, I'm going to be doing the THC one next month, but I'm doing the 5 C's cannabis run.
Okay.
A lot of fun. Been going around the state, picking up my free meds at dispensaries. It's $300 for a pass, which I believe 41 dispensaries are participating. You go there. I mean, it's well worth the money. You get discounts at the hotels in these towns. For me, it's a great excuse to get out of town. So Bubba just sent me a text saying anybody that calls him before the end of the show, but since he sent me this a half an hour ago, and I hope he's cool with this, Bubba, I'm going to say if anybody calls Bubba before 10 p.m. tonight, that him and Pete are going to give you half off. So call 720-490-1857. Bless you. That'll get you a $300 can of pass for $150. Wow. And I'm having a ball with it. I'm running out of dispensaries in Denver, though, so we're about ready to take a road trip.
You're going to have to travel.
I know. So, yeah, definitely check it out. I will say that the meds I've picked up so far, most of them have been phenomenal. I've had a hard time giving anything a really bad grade. I shared, I think, with you a little bit of Hash Plant 13, which is a really old strain that's
that was
really
phenomenal.
nice. Yeah, down in Montrose is where I picked that up, and I think it's part of the Rocky Mountain High chain. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but that tasted wonderful.
Yeah, I actually have a tiny little piece of it at home that I stuck away. I didn't even bring it with me this time because I would be tempted to smoke it, you know. So, guys, thanks for coming in. Charles, we're going to get you back. We're going to try to bring you into the radio a little bit more maybe in the near future. So
I was just a passenger tonight, so I'm happy to come back anytime.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to cut away and pay some bills. Stick with us here on iCannabisRadio.com's Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
Thank you.
The Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for two to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
2 of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our 2 locations, East Platte and West Colorado, and remember,
always be kind to each other.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
And we're back. Are we back?
I think we're back.
Chris always brings us back with the beasties at the end. I love that because it, wakes my ass up a little bit. Because by now I'm like dragging usually. So our next guest brought her husband with her. He's going to be quiet, though, he said. We'll see if we can fix that. Jessica Hogan, Mrs. Hogan, sits on the board of the Cannabis Council with me. I believe we're going to be busy this weekend, huh?
We are. Very busy.
I have not called you yet. We will work that out tomorrow. I will pick up all of the needed supplies for my council board member duties this weekend.
Right. It sounds like you're gonna have a lot of fun. It doesn't sound like duties to me.
There are perks once in a while.
Hanging out at a blues festival.
It's pretty cool.
The Gay Pride. I mean, that's fun.
I love Gay Pride and blues, so I'm down.
Yep.
I won't say I was the first to raise my hand to volunteer, but I'll say I was right behind Mark's law.
I see.
But, you know, I joked in the meeting. I gave Mark, or didn't give Mark, I said, you know, I can volunteer at the Blues Fest until about 8, and then I'm done. And I said, you know, 3 of us until then is great, and then after that, the alcohol will start kicking in the crowd. They're not going to care about us anymore.
No, they're not.
They're going to listen to music and enjoy their drinks.
And it goes on to like midnight. So,
you know,
get out of there early if you can.
Yeah, so we can plug that real quick. Make sure you get out and visit us this weekend if you're in El Paso County, Colorado Springs. Where do you know where the Blues Under the Bridge is exactly?
It's actually under the bridge of Colorado Avenue.
That's what we thought. We were talking earlier. We're like, what bridge could it be under?
Yeah.
That's the only one possible.
Yep, under the bridge, right by the Trestle building.
It's got to be cool. There's got to be good acoustics. There's some great bands lined up. A friend of my other half's that owns one of our favorite little restaurants, Her Story Cafe.
Oh, cool.
She's going to be down there performing. So, yeah, a lot of good local acts. Then Sunday, I will be, it's all weekend long, but I'll be at Acacia Park where I lived for about a month or so doing Pride Fest for us. I lived in the park with Occupy, just to clarify. I slept
you
in
didn't
my
live in
car.
the park with Pride Fest?
Well, you know, maybe a little bit,
Yeah.
but, you know, it's all good.
It's a 2-day event this year.
It is.
10 to 6 both days.
And I guess Sunday's the parade, so I'll be there for the fun day. Yeah, I get to
that's
sleep
cool.
in
Sunday
and
fun day.
sleep off my hangover and then go hang out at Pride Fest. I'm down.
There you go.
So, Jessica, we didn't bring you here tonight to talk council
Oh,
stuff.
sorry. That's my other life.
Right on. Jessica's actually our press person, so I think I asked her to interview back, you know, when we started radio because we wanted to talk about clinics, and I'm going to let you talk more in a minute, but obviously. But you run a clinic, and, you know, you were a little apprehensive about talking on radio at first, but then you did some big-time media, and now we're nothing, so.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. I'm like, you know, I never wanted to interview. I've always been scared to interview as the media person for the Cannabis Council. I'm like, no, I'm behind the scenes. I organize everything. I get the reporter to the interviewee, and I stand back. And then with when we were approached to interview with 60 Minutes last month, I almost didn't do that. I really had to think about it for a while, and I was like, you know what? Take one for the team. I'm going to just show off my clinic to the world, basically, and show how it's done right. It can be professional, and we're all about education, and I know you're talking about that in the previous segment, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can relate. When I get in front of a mic in front of people, I freeze. I mean, I can do it, but radio, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Right.
I don't. They're there. I love you all, but I'm not talking to you guys right now. So yeah, tell us what you do. Tell us the name of your business. Let's get a free plug for you guys.
Oh, sure. Vibrant Health Clinic in Colorado Springs. We've been open, it'll be 2 years in August, so we've had a good run. It was very hard for the first year, a good hard year. And I have my supportive husband who's stuck with me for better or for worse.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, so we offer, obviously, the medical cannabis physician evaluations. We have 2 doctors on staff, and then we also have acupuncture, massage therapy. We do free yoga classes. We have a chiropractor that works with us. We have a gal that does reflexology, aromatherapy, Reiki. So I'm trying to make it into a holistic clinic.
And I don't take advantage of any of it. I'm just going to throw my own HIPAA rights right out the window. I use Vibrant Healthcare, and the place is great. You guys have a great environment. We are lucky enough to have our board meetings there. If you get really hungry, they even have a little snack bowl. I know, those are for patients, but I know Larry, every week I see Larry getting crackers.
Yeah, right. We always have free food and coffee and tea for the patients while they're waiting. And they can do free consults with the other therapists as well. So we make it very inviting, because a lot of patients, especially new patients, they're so scared.
Sure.
First you got to talk them through over the phone. That takes a lot of time. That's my biggest part of my job is the phones.
Sure.
Answer all their questions, and they always say we're very professional over the phone first, which is a nice compliment.
But you do have a beautiful, beautiful office.
Oh, thank
and it's
you.
very professional.
Oh,
I really
thanks.
liked it.
Oh,
Well,
thank
and
you.
I think, you know, I want to talk about what you just said in a minute, but, you know, the whole environment, when someone's sick, and we've talked about this many times, it's not just the medicine you're taking, you know, the things you're offering are amazing because, you know, obviously dispensaries can't do that for all their patients. That would be ridiculous. Doctors' patients counts, I'm going to guess, are a little lower than your average dispensary these days with our lower dispensary count, if you will. So it's great that you guys offer that because a lot of places don't. A lot of places are very impersonal. There are no extra services offered. You know, I've been meaning to ask you, you know, if I can bring my other half to yoga.
Oh, of course.
I don't know that
Open
I
to the
can do
public.
yoga, but, you know, I need to give it a shot.
Anybody can do yoga.
Yeah, so real quick, in a couple minutes, we're going to do a commercial. You know, we're from the Midwest. We learned randomly that we grew up, you know, very close to each other in one of the flyover states. I don't ever like giving precise locations.
Yeah.
But
outside of Champaign-Urbana. That's what
There
I
you
tell people
go.
here.
We'll
They're
get-
like, I don't know your town. I'm like, oh, you know Champaign?
See,
That's
I
what
say
always
south of
say. Yeah.
Chicago
Yeah,
because
we're all
people.
Illinois. We're all
Yeah.
Midwestern. Yeah.
That's what I always say. Is
Yeah.
do you know Champagne?
You know, I think right where I grew up is kind of the cutoff line to say, oh, south of Chicago. You know,
Right.
anything north of there, an hour south of Chicago. So, yeah, it's absolutely
hours.
no one knows. Or I just say, oh, it was cornfields. You know,
Yeah.
occasional bean farm, couple pigs, cow over there.
Yeah.
Big tree. That's where I turn to get home.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's our world. But you know, a lot of folks, and a big reason why I brought you on tonight, is this is a process a lot of people don't know. You know, I moved from the Midwest to be a patient, and when I got here, I had no idea what to do. You know, I guess kind of what I wanted to jump in with you about, and we're going to have a couple minutes and we'll come back into it. We're not going to finish. The process, you know, now I know you're not a doctor. We can point that out and throw a disclaimer in. But you do know the process and the steps involved. I'm going to let you go through those for folks out of state and out of the country listening.
Sure.
You can jump in and tell us.
Okay.
My name's John. I just moved from Kentucky, and I need to get my red card. What do I do?
Great. Well, first, John, you have to become a Colorado resident. That's the biggest part.
Okay, I'll be right back in like 10 minutes. The DMV is really quick over here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we do get a lot of calls from patients or people, they're not patients yet, from other states that, you know, they see the show American Weed on TV and they're, you know, which has helped my business, which is kind of funny. I'm not even on that show. But, you know, what's the process there? So first you have to be a resident. You can actually be any age to be a patient in Colorado. We require medical records for over or under age 21, but we always like to have medical records. They're definitely preferred, especially for new patients. So that's another question. And then they have to have a qualifying medical condition. A lot of patients think, or people that call, they're like, oh, I've got anxiety, depression, insomnia. I know I qualify. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but you don't. In Colorado, it's 8 qualifying conditions, as we all know. Severe chronic pain, cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, HIV, muscle spasms, severe nausea, wasting syndrome with that as well, and seizures. So they need one of those conditions, medical records, and then we pre-screen everybody over the phone before they even come in. So we make sure that they will most likely qualify, because why waste your time and money coming all the way to Colorado?
I have to jump in and make a joke that I don't know if I believe the wasting syndrome one, because look at me. I've been skinny since birth, and I've smoked cannabis since, well, we won't say, but a long, long time, and I'm still a skinny bastard. When am I going to get fat, damn it? No, I'm kidding. Absolutely, cannabis, you know, those are the 8 principal things. And we talked earlier, you know, and I'll get your opinion on this. Severe pain branches out into a lot of different things. A lot of people, you know, criticize our industry, criticize doctors because, you know, oh, they don't need a red card. You know, they're not sick. He doesn't look sick. You know, and we're not going to talk specific numbers. That's not the point. But, you know, how many folks do you actually see, you know, you know what I mean, that come in? I mean, I'm guessing it's not a big percentage that come through your door on the edge of death.
We do offer home visits. We do hospice care visits and hospital visits too. So we have had a lot of patients. We've had patients who have passed away from cancer.
Oh, but I mean, you know, the folks, generally the folks coming through your door as a populace, as a whole group, it's probably like a minuscule amount that actually you would look at and say, wow, they're sick. You know what I mean? I think it's important to get that out. You know, people like me get criticized, the majority of patients, because people look at us and maybe people think I look sick. I hope not. But, you know, that we don't look, we're not in a chair.
Let's look, because it's
right.
what are you
it
feeling
is
on
relative.
the inside? You know, people don't know how you feel on the inside. And that's a big criticism that, you know, they're like, hey, you come into the clinic and looking around, you know, of course you can see the patients are kind of looking at each other and looking each other up and down, and you can say, we have a lot of elderly patients, actually. And we have a lot of cancer patients. We have a lot of chronic pain. I mean, pain meds are the #1 prescribed thing in America.
and that's what's killing America.
Yes, exactly.
It's the
so pain
quickest,
is a huge problem.
The quickest growth in addiction right now is prescription pills in general. Pain is a huge problem. I live with severe chronic pain every day, and it sucks. I'm lucky in that, you know, as the path that they put you on with pain is narcotics, and you know it's progressive. You can't just take Vicodin forever and expect it to work. And you know, I'll be the first to say I still have to take a couple meds a day, but you know, I've decreased that. You know, I've not went that other direction. What we offer, what you offer, your doctors offer, is a chance for these folks to not go that route, to be healthy, to choose something that is healthy and actually kind of good for them.
That's the #1 call that we get. They say, look, I've tried everything. This is my last resort. And a lot of patients, or they'll say, my doctor won't write the recommendation, but they told me to come to you and do this. And we're even getting patients from the VA. That is amazing to me. The VA docs. Go get your medical marijuana card. I'm like, wow. You know, we're making huge progress here.
And what's sad is they do see that it works, and the system prevents them because, you know, the DEA, from my understanding, the first doctor I saw, you know, I asked her, because I just moved here and was dumb to everything, you know, and having to take prescriptions still, I have to see 2 doctors. It's kind of ridiculous. And there are a few out there who do both, but, you know, I asked her, you know, why don't you do both? And she said flat out that the DEA picks on you. You know, if you write prescriptions and you prescribe cannabis, you're putting a big bullseye on you. Then you have to go through the DEA. She's like, I don't write prescriptions, so I don't have to go through all the hoops that I would if I wrote prescriptions for pills. It's plain and simple. And she also threw in the kicker that there was some money motivation there. You know, it's easier money, less headache, basically, which that's business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, for me personally, do you see a lot of folks helped off of opiates and all, you know, Xanax, Valium, the whole nine, the whole gamut?
Yeah, they come back. We do, you have to come once a year. Once you qualify the first time, you have to renew your license every year. It's standard by state law. And a lot of people complain about that. They're like, well, I have a chronic condition. It's not going to get better. I'm like, sorry, this is the state rules. But they come back, and we have a lot of patients. I mean, this is why I love what I do, because I can actually see them being helped by this. They come back the next year. They're feeling great. They're doing yoga, they've lost weight, they're off of most of their pharmaceuticals, if not all of them. They're even lowering their blood pressure meds, their diabetes meds. I mean, it's everything. Cannabis is supposed to be, it is here for us to use. It's for us, it's a food.
It's in the Bible even.
Us, it is.
For the Christian folk out there, it absolutely is.
All seed-bearing plants.
With what you're saying, I mean, I see that coming into the dispensary. You see somebody who comes in and they've been on oxycodone and all kinds of drugs, and they're pale. They look like a shell of a person, and they're sweating, and you can tell they're in pain. And they start using natural medication and start getting off some of the pharmaceuticals, and they come back and they look like a human being again. They have color in their face. And
I hear that we can't hear Elisa that well.
I will scoot closer.
I tried to adjust the mic for you tonight, but you're
I'm a challenge.
You're vertically challenged, so it's hard to judge sometimes. I do my best. I tread lightly. I've got so many ladies surrounding me in life. I live a tough life sometimes. There's fine lines, you know. I don't want to get anything wrong and put it too tall, you know. I like to think of it as me being a smart man.
There you go.
That's it.
What are you going to do? So I'm sorry, we interrupted your process.
Oh, no.
So you renew every year. I have a question. Like, you know, let's explain something that happened recently. Bob Krause's trial.
Yeah.
A lot of people out of state, you know, will look at our law as a broad brush and see that, you know, you get your red card, you're entitled 6 plants. A couple things people never realize is, you know, number one, the red card's optional, and number two, that you can get a recommendation for more if, you know, you use more. Like, you know, myself, if I actually would get the ambition to grow, I use Phoenix Tears now for my pain, and that's helped me get off of most of the other pills I was still taking. And you know, with that, I'm going to let you jump in and explain why a doctor would write that recommendation. Like what's the use there?
Well, especially for patients who grow their own meds. I mean, it takes a lot more product if you're going to make a tincture or an oil or topical. So you need more plant matter, obviously, to do that. And now on the state forms, they actually have a spot for the physician to write in a higher plant count with a higher ounce count for possession. So, and that becomes your affirmative defense, as we found in Bob's trial. Of course, his red card was expired, but his doctor had a higher plant count for him, and he was actually growing under that anyway, but came to the jury and he is free. But our doctors are comfortable with doing that. It is based on medical need. I mean, you just can't say, I need it. It is a longer process. It's a longer appointment time. They need to know how much product you're using, what kind of products you're using, how often you're using it, how it helps you, and then they can decide, okay, you might need 12 plants, you might need 24 plants. You know, in higher cases, mostly our cancer patients, they might get up, you know, in 40s, but they're making their own oils, and Phoenix Tears oil, for example, which we know cures cancer.
Apoptosis. We're going to wrap up in a couple minutes. Well, a few minutes we've still got here. You know, apoptosis, I encourage everyone to Google it. It does kill cancer. It's killing Bob's cancer. We had him on a couple weeks ago. Gosh, it's been going so fast the last month or two.
He got blood test results back Monday. His cancer is down again.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Great.
That's awesome.
And why isn't the federal government okaying that?
Well, and
cannabis is still no medical value, right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's obvious with cancer. I mean, you have cancer treatment centers. You don't have cancer cure centers. If they had cancer cure centers, there's a $1 billion industry gone overnight. What they're too stupid, and forgive me, but no, don't forgive me. What they're too freaking stupid to see is that the hemp industry replaces all those jobs. It replaces that industry and more.
They're not stupid. They don't want us to replace those. I read online today that if you're diagnosed with cancer, that's to the chemotherapy, the people that sell that's an automatic $300,000.
Oh, we could go deep into conspiracies right now, but I won't. I'll just say that, you know, a lot of the stuff that most Americans, I try not to be one, contain things like BPAs and things that we know cause cancer. Now, why would manufacturers who are so buddy-buddy with our government be putting things in their products that cause cancer? Is it a money-making industry? So on that note, we're going to get going here in a couple minutes, but Miss Jessica, please tell us your website and any contact info for folks in Colorado who would like to become a patient.
Oh, sure. Well, we're downtown Colorado Springs, an old historic building everybody loves, and our website is vibranthealthclinic.com. And there, at that site you can find all the contact information that you need. Give us a call. and we can get you scheduled, or at least answer your questions, or you can come in for a consultation with the doctor.
And I might be opening a box here, but if, there are folks out of state who are looking to move to Colorado and they're curious and they have questions.
Yeah.
Are you guys happy to answer some of those?
Well, of course.
If they're not super long-winded?
Yes, of course. And you can always email me too, jessica@vibranthealthclinic.com.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for everything you do.
Sure. Thank
I
you
think
for everything you do.
Excuse me. Let me cough on air. Thank you. So I just want to plug real quick. We do have the events this weekend for the council that we're working on. The folks who aren't listening right now are probably down in the Springs at Audrey's event tonight, the C4 CPR.
They're all having fun.
C4 CPR fundraiser. Yeah. I don't know what time it's over, but we might be able to get there.
Yeah. The bar closes at 1.
Oh, wait. I have a hotel here. I'm not going anywhere
home.
tonight. So yeah, this weekend we will be at Blues Under the Bridge, which is right under Colorado as you're
Saturday.
getting ready to go over or under I-25. One of those. Under.
Under.
Yes. Pride Fest is in Acacia Park, which is on Tejon and Bijou, Tejon and Platte, and Nevada. You get the picture. It's a block.
That whole big square right there.
Until next time, the federal government's given everybody a lot of shit in the last few days, the last couple of weeks. We got to give it right back to them. And that's unprofessional for me to use those words, but it is what it is. It's mudslinging. They're nitpicking. They're coming in, calling people, putting ATMs in their dispensary, money launderers. For God's sakes, get a life. Go fight real crime. We love you. Stay with us and listen next week. Peace.
Peace.